Hello, good morning. Good morning. For some reason hindi nag-record kahit nag-record ako kanino yung sa orientation natin, no. So I will be doing another recording for you na hindi naka-attend kanina sa live review, no. Okay, good morning again. So I am Eugene Gomo. I am the one who started Betnos online tutorial services, no. In the hope no to help other colleague. Ito ay actually nag-start nung ako ay nagko-consult sa anatomy sa med school. So I am uh, incoming second year College of Medicine student sa San Beda, and I planned and I decided to defer the second year uh, sa medicine para mag-focus dito sa review and other ventures, no. I am also currently uh, teaching surgery na for this coming term sa Araneta, no? Okay, so let's continue, no? I really love learning. So I have a lot of uh, enrollments, no, sa Coursera, sa HarvardX, and meron din sa I think sa LinkedIn, meron din silang learning management software where I enrolled, no. So part of that, because of that, I decided na magplan for a CPD course, no, sa Canvas. And eventually I started with this review sa board exam, and in the hope na makahelp sa ating colleague. So good morning. So let's continue, no? Okay, so I really love veterinary medicine. This lifted our poverty, us from poverty. I can say na because of veterinary medicine, because of this profession, I'm not poor anymore. So I can proudly say that I'm not rich, but definitely I am not poor because of my patience, and of course sa aking determination na hindi pagpatuloy yung poverty ng aking ancestors, no. So part of that also, I really love veterinary medicine, and I really love my cases, no. And this every day I am being challenged, although napakahirap itong ating professions, seeing those patients like this, no. So this one is a very severe wound, no. It's infected wound na the whole dermis and epidermis, and also part of the hypodermis is already removed from this patient. This is one of the rescue that we are being tended, or that we are tending in our small veterinary clinic here in the Philippines that I started also. So I see a lot of cases like this in terms of as far as stray is concerned in shelter medicine. I had my degree in a master's degree in shelter medicine from the University of Florida, and before that I was a junior veterinarian sa shelter sa Thailand, and we see a lot of cases na the same as this. And good thing in those times we are not treating the patient based on how the client's capability to pay, no. So we just do the treatment, and then release the patient when they are okay, or they will stay at the shelter when or if they are adaptable, no. So we see a lot of cases like this in veterinary medicine, and one of the rewards that I get from this is the thought or the experience that this patient will actually get better, no, even if they will stay in the clinic or in the treatment for months. And napaka rewarding na that we'll see the cases after completion of the treatment. And this one is one of the force that or the rewards that I am getting and in this profession, no. So we will be discussing this further in as we go on with the orientation, no. Okay, these are the famous persons or uh, parang celebrity, no, that has something to say about the veterinary profession. No? Like, who said that the best doctors are the veterinarians? So we all know it's Will Rogers. No, so Mahatma Gandhi said that uh, the way we treat our animals is the gauge on how we are being or how we are gauged to be like a great nation, no. So and also the Dalai Lama said that we should treat uh, other lives with respect. And during my shelter veterinary practice time in Thailand, uh, I can see how the Buddhists or the Thai regard the life of any animals, even if it's pests, no? So kahit snake or rats, they don't kill, no? Ang ginagawa namin pagka may nahuli kami sa shelter dati, some Thai will release these animals from far from the shelter, from the clinic, no? And I can also say that even if with the 0.5% chance of survival of the patient, the Thai veterinarians, they still want to do the treatment, no. Hindi sila nag euthanasia, but there comes a time that when western veterinarians came in, uh, na they are open with they're open to euthanasia. But then they will not be doing the euthanasia. Ang nangyayari before is that more of na ako or other non-Thai vets ang gumagawa ng procedure for that case, no? So they really want, no, na talagang i-try at the very best, no, to give the treatment that is possible for any given condition, no, even if it's a dying condition. So again, the reward that I get in this profession is invaluable, no, invaluable, walang katumbas, no, kasi I can see the effect of my hard works and also my team. No, this is hard. No, this is one of the rescue that came to our clinic. No, and it stayed for a couple of months, maybe 4 to 5 months, or I don't know if less or more. No, and then eventually the patient was discharged and with a smaller wound na. No, and this is also what uh, still is keeping me going with regards to the veterinary practice. So a lot of times kahit ganun ka-rewarding ang veterinary medicine, there are aspects that we have to be very serious. It's, for example, with recording and with the notes, no. A lot of times we'll put notes in the records, and in this case we'll be defining what type of wound the wound is, no. So as we all know, there are 3 types of wound. This is a surgery topic, which is uh the three, no, clean wounds, clean contaminated wounds, and contaminated wounds, no. Example of clean wounds is the routine castration, no. Before, when the microbial resistance is very famous, no. There were times na we don't do antibiotic treatment for those surgeries, and some veterinarians actually are uh, advocating na wag nang magbigay ng antibiotics sa mga cases na ganito. But then if they're stray, a lot of times they have to be given long-acting antibiotics after the or during the surgery, no. So for now, it depends on your practice. If you become a veterinary surgeon, if you give a preventative antibiotic treatment, or uh, totally get rid of any antibiotic treatment, no. And then we have clean contaminated wound. That's for example routine spay, and then there's pyometra that is not spilled, no, or very little spillage. Then this is defined as under clean contaminated wounds. And then we have contaminated wounds that we really have to uh, or we cannot avoid na magkaroon ng spillage doon sa mga organs. Let's say for example, if you do uh, foreign body extraction from the stomach, no, we have to open the stomach, and then there is more or less or most likely there will be spillage of stomach contents into the abdominal cavity that you have to clean, no. So this is contaminated wounds, no. And also with the wound that I've shown you earlier that is infected, that's contaminated wound. So for wounds, we know that there are three types, or sorry, to three phases of wound healing. First, inflammation and debridement. Next, proliferation, and then maturation. There is specific time for this, no, and um, there are different things that is happening that are happening in these different phases. We have to note that in the phase one, we have the vessels constriction. Phase two, there are angiogenesis. And then phase three, there is remodeling, or there is, this is the last phase wherein all the bumps or the excess na mga tissues, they are being remodeled para maging flat ulit yung wound, or the new skin if there's skin a wound, no? So in this case of heart, no, there is an avulsion wound, no. I don't know what happened, but they said it's an accident, and it's been like that for a long time before it was presented to us. There are other laceration, other types of wounds like laceration. We have shearing, puncture, penetrating, and then we have the pressure necrosis. No, very common in pressure necrosis for paralyzed patients. No, in shelter medicine or in rescues, most rescuers they don't want euthanasia, and most dogs that are paralyzed, they end up on the cage for prolonged cage rest, and they will suffer from pressure necrosis or pressure wounds that we are calling, no. So I am Eugene Gomo. I am from Don Mariano Marcos Memorial State University, and I work in different countries like Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and here in the Philippines. No, I came back last 2020 during the pandemic. No, and during the pandemic, I observed that there's a lot of improvement with regards to our practice here in the Philippines, and I can say that na we are improving and booming. This industry is booming, and hopefully up until you become licensed veterinarians and become seasoned veterinarians, ganito pa din ang ating veterinary practice, no? And it's up to you also to elevate our practice, and we count on you future veterinarians, no? So this is where I work. Uh, Most of my practice is honed by the shelter in Phuket, Thailand. And lastly, in Cambodia, one veterinary practice in Cambodia, wherein I was the only veterinarian during I think 8 month period, no? Okay, so the veterinary practice in the Philippines, as I said, is very active, no, and it's very booming at this time. And also with this active practice and booming practice in the Philippines, hindi natin maiiwasan yung mga illegal practitioners of veterinary medicine. That is why we have the act to regulate these practices, no, which is we all know the Republic Act 9268, no, or the Veterinary Medicine Act, no. So the others, the Republic Act 8485, is Animal Welfare Act of 1998. The Republic Act 10631, this is a revised Animal Welfare Act. And then Anti-Rabies Act of 2007 is the 9482. No? So bakit ba meron tayong Republic Act to regulate practice of medicine in the Philippines, no? So of course, if there is no regulation, so madaming lalabasan na veterinarians if that's the case, no? Uh, so the Republic Act 9268 give us different provisions in terms of uh, registration, licensing, and also the practice, no? So even with this law, ang dami pa din na illegal practitioners. Even yung mga non-vets, even hindi nag-aral, they're trying or they're venturing into veterinary practice na that the law should be regulating. Pero unfortunately, with the implementation of the law, so hindi meron pa din yung mga ganito, no? Hopefully in the future, there will be more strict regulation. So it also provides information about how to register, uh, also the different subjects for the examination, no, and then how to pass, no. It says on this law that you have to have at least 75% rating during the examination with no score of below 60 in any subject, no. Kapag ka ang rating mo or average rating mo was 75 and up pero ang anatomy mo ay below 60, so you will have to repeat that. That's a conditional term, no? You have to repeat that specific subject the next year that ma-open ulit ang board examination, no? So that's possible. A lot of takers nagkaka-conditional, no? However, it doesn't mean na after ko magka-conditional, the next year na mag-exam ka, it's easy na. No, still, there's a lot of those people who are also failing kahit na isang subject lang yung tinitake nila. Kasi all of the subjects, sometimes they are related to other subjects. So, ang target natin, wag na tayong maging conditional, wag na tayong mag-fail, pass the board exam. Okay, also the regulatory provisions, it's also in here, the section 22, no? I do have some compassion with non-licensed veterinarians, no? Again, being a veterinarian, it is the university, when you graduate, gives you the title veterinarian or the DVM. However, to give you the license to practice, you have to pass the board exam. In other countries kasi, if the graduate, they are eligible to practice in a specific areas or a specific state veterinary medicine. And in other state, you have to take a licensure exam to be able to practice on that specific state. Sa Pilipinas kasi, kahit graduate ka ng La Union, hindi ka pwedeng mag-practice sa La Union unless meron kang license, Philippine license, no? So, ganun. So, isa lang yung licensing body natin dito sa Pilipinas that is for you to pass the board exam. So, ipasa na natin yan, no? And also, ito yung name, no? Although the university give you the degree, no? The diploma to the DVM degree, you are still not eligible to put the letters in your name unless you pass the board exam. Yun yung sinasabi ng Republic Act 9268 or the Veterinary Medicine Act. Okay, so the veterinary medicine licensure exam for this year, October, will be held on October 28, 29, 30, and 24, no? I think they are going back na to one board exam per year. So hopefully babalik mas maganda sana na at least twice a year ulit, no, para mas dadami ang mga veterinarians. So still there are at least at most lagi naman four ang testing sites na sa Baguio, here in Metro Manila, and then sa Cebu province and Davao. So depending on where you are located, I think yung pinakamalapit this is where you will be taking the board exam, no? So unless you take or you requested to be taking the board exam sa Manila pero sa PRC Baguio ka yun, ilalagay ka nila sa Manila. I think you can choose, no? So the deadline of application will be on September 30, 2024. So for the new takers, you have to have your account, new Larry's account, no, sa PRC website. So you have to create your account there, and then you'll have to pay the application fee, and then you have to book an appointment to the nearest PRC office para i-check nila yung requirements mo. And then afterwards, they will give you a notice of admission. And then they will be publishing the list of eligible takers na after September 30. So these are the requirements: birth certificate, marriage contract, record, transcripts, remarks mayroong remarks for board exam purposes, NBI clearance for first timers, and then for the payment, 900 for complete for lahat ng subjects, and then for conditional, 450. No? So these are the things that you have to bring, no? Notice of admission, pencils, long brown envelope, no? And then black ball pens. And then ito yung sample answer sheet. We'll check if during the review we can have a sample answer answering sheets, no, para matry ninyo. But then when I did the board exam, hindi naman ganun kahirap, na madali lang po. Okay, a few days ago there is this notice from the PRC Board of Veterinary Medicine Examiners, no? So ito na yung mga instructions and the schedules, no? So 3 subjects per day on 28, 29, and 30. Kayang-kaya nyo yan, no? I will be also uploading this, or if not uploaded already, dun sa Canvas para you'll have the record. So today, or tonight, or this morning is the orientation. This coming weeks or the next tomorrow, starting tomorrow, it will be veterinary anatomy by me again. And then next week, Dr. Frigeliana. And then parasitology, Dr. Roble Quiles. Pathology, veterinarian slash human doctor ang magre-review dyan. And then we have Dr. Hona, which is a clerk, medical clerk. We have Dr. Agustin for pharmacology, Dr. Anderson for veterinary medicine, who is in the US now, and then Dr. Dwight Amparo from BAE. And then we have Dr. Payo Kento for surgery, who is in Korea. Hopefully, maging smooth ang ating reviews, no? Okay, let's start. The table of specification, no? So during my time, merong mga guidelines for board exam pero hindi sila nabibigay sa atin. But now there is this table of specifications. Hopefully your schools give you this document, no? If not, then this is the document that you have to read on the table of specifications. The table of specifications actually give us a hint kung ano ba yung mga ibibigay na questions sa board exam. So specifically the mga different subjects. So I already uploaded this in Canvas. You should be able to see this, no? Or download these documents, PDFs, no? So the TOS is, let's say for example, parang curriculum wherein you'll have the different objectives, and then andito yung mga different type of questions for specific subjects. No? Example, for anatomy, they will be asking a question with regards to skeletal system under understanding. If you understand the concept of skeletal system, then you'll have question. Let's say, for example, which is the smallest muscle, no, sorry, smallest bone, biggest bone, and then muscles, understanding this, which of the following is a respiratory muscle, inspiratory muscle, expiratory muscles, mga ganun, no? Which of the following does not innervate the which of the following innervates the lateral rectus muscles, parang ganun, no? So, makikita natin mostly under understanding yung anatomy, but you can download all the whole document, and then you can see kung ano pa yung mga type of questions. Very rare na merong create, and to evaluate, and then analyze, apply, and then understand, and then remember. So parang from easy type of question to difficult type of questions ito. So this is based on the Bloom's taxonomy. So maganda, no? So like remembering, just like recollection, no? Recognize, recalling facts, understand, no? What the fact means, what is all about isang organ, and then the rest, no? The same, this is the Bloom's taxonomy, Bloom's pyramid, no? So again, remembering, understanding, this is very common na tinatanong sa board exam. So example of remembering, no? If we say, what is the nerve supply of the lateral rectus muscle, no? This is one of the extraocular muscles in the eye, no? If you move your eye up, down, left, right, the extraocular muscles will be working, no? So we have the lateral rectus, we have the medial rectus, with the superior oblique, dorsal rectus, and the rest, no? So I don't know if you know, but the lateral rectus is being supplied by the cranial nerve number 6. No, we have a mnemonic here, so we have LR6SO4. No, so superior oblique, cranial nerve 4, lateral rectus, cranial nerve 6 or abducens, and all the other extraocular muscles will be supplied or innervated by the oculomotor nerve or the cranial nerve 3. No? SO4, superior oblique 4, cranial nerve 4, LR6, lateral rectus 6, or the abducens nerve. Pwedeng SO4, LR6, or another, for you to remember, LR6, SO4, and then O3. So, yun yung mnemonics na mostly na ginagamit. Even sa med school, yun yung ginagamit. Next, another type of question is understanding. So another one question is, which of the following is absent on normal skin of dog but present on epidermis of the nostrils? No. So normal skin of a dog, that's the soft skin, and then epidermis of the nostrils, that's thick skin or hard skin. So we all know na there is a difference, no? Kapag thick skin, merong stratum lucidum, no? Kapag thin skin, walang lucidum. So that's the difference for thick skin and thin skin. So this is the epidermis. There are different layers. Namely corneum, lucidum, granulosa, spinosum, and basale. This is for thick skin, no? So for a normal skin, walang lucidum. So ano manok here, come let's get sexy baby, or come let's get Starbucks, pwede yun, no? So dito, I want you to take note of all the questions na pwedeng mabato sa inyo, no? So sabi ko na this is the questions, no? But then you can also review from other type of questions here, or other questions. Let's say, for example, which of the following layers of the skin is the most superficial, no? We know, sabi ko, the stratum corneum. Kapag ito yung pinaka-outermost, no? What layer does the corneum belongs to? It's the epidermis, no? Epidermis, dermis, and then hypodermis. So, parang ganun. But actually, we are reviewing the lucidum only, no? Pero, nababasa natin na on our unconscious na i-include natin na na-review yung epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. So ganun yung ating review strategy dapat. The next type of question is application. No? A 2-year-old Chihuahua came to your practice with a complaint of acute right hind leg lameness. You decided to perform drawer's test in the hope to localize the lesion. No? So, and we know, if you understand, if you did already the drawer's test, basically, ang ginagawa, you have to grab yung leg ng patient, tapos yung sa kamay niya, dito, tas you have to do draw. And then, mapapansin ninyo na ditong part, it will move forward. I'll show you later, no? So you know that this is the cruciate ligament, no? A lot of times, kapag ka small breed, tapos biglang karoon ng acute lameness, non-two touching, so you have to think patellar luxation, cruciate ligament rupture, collateral ligament, very uncommon, pero nangyayari. And then Achilles, also not very common. So, sa patellar luxation, if you know yung kneecap, sometimes kapag ka nagkakaroon ng laxity ng mga joints, on also ligaments in the muscles, there will come a time na pwedeng mag-deviate yung patella imbes na doon sa gitna, pwedeng pumunta sa left or right, no? So medial or lateral luxation. Sometimes hindi bumabalik, sometimes bumabalik, no? Kapag ka bumalik, na-solve yung problem, wala may lameness. Pero minsan kapag ka non-toe touching, tas nakaangat lang, it can lead to serious problem dun sa patella na yun, no? And then we have the collateral ligament. It's not very common na nakakita ng ganito, but it can happen. So, just to give you a differentiation of sprain and strain, sprain is for ligament, strain is for muscles. No? Kapag ka strain, train tendon. So, tendon, what is tendon? It attaches muscles to bone. So, tendon. Muscle, tendon, bone. No? Tendon. So, strain. Para, I don't know if you've interchanged sprain or strain, no? Okay. And then we have the Achilles, no? If the Achilles tendon is severed, ang mangyayari is ganito, no? Ganito yung presentation niya. All the parang ginagamit niya na parang sole na yung metacarpal and carpal. Metacarpal, no? So I've seen cases like this bilateral, both legs. And then also we have cruciate ligament. It's very common na nangyayari yung cruciate ligament. Na ang kapag ka suspected mo cruciate ligament rupture, then you'll do the drawer's sign test, no? Cruciate ligament, they are the one that stabilize the knee. And kapag ka nagkaroon ng overexercise yung patient, tumatakbo, tapos talon ng talon, it can cause rupture on these ligaments. And you have to diagnose with drawer's test. Sa X-ray, it cannot be easily diagnosed unless karoon ng a lot of inflammation. But in CT scan, it can you can see the rupture or actually the ligament na merong break. And treatment for this is TPLO and TTA, tibial plateau stectomy. I think we will be discussing this in the surgery na. And then we have the this tibial tuberosity advancement, I think. So this is the drawer's test. So you have to move this leg, this part forward, and madali lang siya, no? And it's painful for patient usually. Kapag ka-acute, no? Pero kapag ka-chronic na yung cruciate ligament rupture, hindi na siya ganun kasakit, no? So, if you try to your dog, kapag normal, kapag walang tear, mahirap yun, walang nag-move siya. And then, analyze, no? So, sometimes kapag mahaba yung questions, it's difficult, no? The same then, sometimes they will have a lot of these lengthy questions that you have to read a lot, no? So a cat with difficulty in breathing, with left side swelling, and with the diagnosis of diaphragmatic hernia based on the radiographs, no? So ano po yung minsan yung mga question na to, what best describes the problem, no? So we'll see this later on. So diaphragmatic hernia is very common in cats and dogs, ano? Sometimes ang cause nito ay congenital. Ibig sabihin merong butas yung kanyang diaphragm, no? Diaphragm is one of the respiratory muscles. So in between the abdomen and the thorax, there's the diaphragm, no? It demarcates uh, the two compartments, no? And of course, different sila yung content, no? Kapag ka merong diaphragmatic hernia, the diaphragm has a hole and then part of the abdominal cavity will go into the thoracic cavity. So yung kanyang intestine pumunta dito, no? This is very deadly kapag surgery kasi we will do open chest, no? Kapag inopen mo yan, open chest na immediately magkakaroon ng problem sa pressure dito. So, this is one of our patients na rescue na that was elected for euthanasia pero they contacted us luckily and we said we can try, no? So this is the common presentation for this diaphragmatic hernia. You can see the breathing, abdominal breathing, mouth breathing like that. And then after the surgery, ito na siya, no? This is one of the very exceptional cases that we had with regards to the diaphragmatic hernia kasi parang walang nangyari. And during the procedure, walang problem, walang problema. Although, our success, it's not that high, mga 60 or 70 success rate. Like out of 10, namamatay yung 4, no? Nagsusurvive yung 6. So, in this type of questions, you have to be very careful in the board exam, no? Kapag ka nag-take kayo. Kasi you have to check what is being asked mostly, no? Kung kaya, you have to ask or you have to read the questions first. Ito. And we have to check for the negatives and positives of questions. Ito, what is the best describes. Sometimes, meron mga questions which does not belong to or except yung mga words na ganun para hindi kayo malito, no? So in these questions, the best description for that problem is that the intestine displays the heart to the right side of the thorax, severe cardiovascular instability and arrhythmias. Although if you read kasi yung other choices, it sometimes is also true. Pero ano tinatanong is which is the best. So madaming ganun, no? Meron tayong mga distractors na di-distract. So malalaman mong mahirap yung question kapag yung mga choices sometimes magkakatulad, no? Yun yung medyo mahirap na type of question sa board exam. And then we have the following evaluation, no? Which anatomical difference between ruminants and monogastrics mostly uh, significantly affect their nutritional needs, no? Alam natin na for ruminants, it's their four stomachs, no? The four chambers of their stomach. So the answer is a number of stomach chambers, no? So you have to be familiarized the four chambers of the stomach, which is the rumen, reticulum, omasum, and abomasum. Being abomasum is called the true stomach. And again, you have to check which compartment is which kung ano yung nangyayari in each compartment. And then we have to create the type of question. However, this type of question is very rare if you read the TOS, no? May mga siguro 2 or 3, no? So which factor is most important when choosing the incision site of thoracotomy in a dog, no? So kapag ka thoracotomy sa thorax in between the ribs, so you have to choose or you have to check the location of the intercostal space kasi doon yung pinaka safe, no? So if you check on the intercostal space kasi nandoon yung mga kung malapit doon sa rib, no, andun yung vessels, vein, artery, and the nerve. Pinaka taas is vein, sa baba is artery, and then the nerve. This is what you will be avoiding if you are doing a thoracotomy, no? In veterinary practice, ang very common na ginagawa natin is thoracocentesis. However, uh, sometimes mahirap din, hindi rin madaling ginagawa. So if you do thoracocentesis, you have to check the orientation of the heart also, no, para hindi natin ma-hit yung heart, no. Mostly ang ginagawa ko on the right na side, no, and then medyo caudal siya para hindi siya ma-hit yung heart if ever that you do if ever that you do thoracentesis. Okay. So tips for the board exam, no? So I know everyone has a different learning style, different teaching style, but I'll just be presenting this some I'll be, I'll be presenting some tips for the board exam. So sometimes we if we do repeat the exam, sometimes kapag repeater tayo, mas maganda that you have to check kung mga ano ba yung mga mistakes natin, no? And you can learn from other takers kung ano ba yung mga hindi nila na-take or hindi nila na-review or hindi nila na-answeran or nasagot. Then one of strategy ay to check on those, no? And kung ano ba yung mga mistakes during those times, anong mga mistake ng mga takers, then you have to uh, be sure that you don't have to repeat them. You have to make sure that you don't have to repeat them. Okay? And also, uh, that is negative kapag kung ano naman maganda, ang mga gandang ginawa ng mga or ginawa nyo in passing any exams, then that's how you want to emulate, no? Ganun yung gagawin ninyo then. Okay? So, it's okay to ask the top notchers and also the even the normal passer na okay lang din na tanungin natin yung kanilang strategy on how do they review during the board exam. And then learning techniques in memory retention, no? So work smart. So supposedly ang review ninyo for the board exam now should be fast paced, no? What is the most important? So that's why we have the table of specifications. If you want to go very in depth or very parang kutuan mo yung mga kutuan lahat yung mga subjects, then you should have been doing that noon pa, no, when you are in medical school, veterinary medical school, when like 1 year ago, 2 years ago, ganun dapat ang ginagawa. But for now, malapit na yung board exam, and you have to work smart, you have to choose which is the best na review na like mabilis and high yield na review. And then learn the techniques on how to learn faster and remember better. So use mnemonics, no? Kung mag-work sa yung mnemonics, you have to use them. And sometimes you have to do repetition. Repeat, 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 no? I remember when I did the review, I have a companion, no? So I recommended na meron kayong companion that you have to discuss this and that na sa review ninyo. And don't and be inspired with your companion, no? Kung alam niya, kung meron siya mga alam na hindi mo alam, then maganda na share. And again, if there are questions that you don't know, immediately check on it, no? Don't be scared, don't be shy, don't be afraid to or wag mahiya na mag-check sa Google every time. Even now that I am in veterinary practice, I still ask the internet, I mean the resources, the books in between or during or after na magkakaroon ng consult, no? So okay lang yan, that's okay. So also again as I said earlier, repeat. And then time management strategy, no? So I recommend that you have your own routine, no? I message some of you na medyo nakita ko dun sa Canvas na hindi masyadong online or hindi nagte-take ng mga exams or quizzes. So please at least you have to allocate some hours of the day na mag-review for this. And uh, in relation to that, no, you have to be uh, open to your family, and you have to ask their help na or cooperation na you have this time management, you have this strategy that they should help you, no? And also for those who are working, please do create a plan for the day para lang at least maka-review kayo, no? So learn strategies on how to manage your time, no? Your energy and willpower, no? Sa mga mga nagtatrabaho sa mga clinics, sa mga sometimes sa mga vet school who are still reviewing, they have enough time naman, no? For those dead times, you have to really spend, strategize, and maximize those times. Also, energy and willpower, no? So, napakaganda if there's a very good support from your family or your from friends na kasama mo sa ngayon, no? Kayang-kaya nyo yan. And then practice deliberately. Practice, practice, practice. Every day, practice, practice. Yun lang yung napaka-easy to remember things, no? Para ma-recall natin. Repetition, repetition, repetition. And then conducive study environments. As I said earlier, choose the best place where you can review. And napaka-importante talaga yung support ng family, support ng environment. Dapat kausapin ninyo yung family ninyo na ganito ako nagre-review. Dapat you help me. And then motivation strategies, you have to motivate yourself, no? As much as intrinsic motivation ay katulong, mas maganda na meron kayong intrinsic motivation, na sarili nyo mismo, no? Na magmo-motivate, no? Like for example, habang nagre-review ka, you tell yourself that you are also reviewing kung ano, being a doctor, no? Yung mga informations that you will be using in your future career, no? Not only for this board exam. And also, you also review at the same time you are hungry for knowledge na gusto mong talagang malaman ito, no? And again, sabi ko mas maganda na intrinsic pero okay lang din na merong extrinsic motivation. So for example, bibili ka ng ganitong gadget after passing the board exam or magbabakasyon. So yeah, try to have those motivations, no? Sana every part of your family helps you with this and may motivate kayo, no? Kayang-kaya nyo yan. And check those or copy those tips na from people who passed the board exam. Have tips, you digest those, check on those if it will work for you. Okay yan. And I think that ends our orientation, no? Actually, the orientation was 2 hours long doon sa talagang live, no? However, kasi nga sabi ko hindi nag-record, I don't know what happened. Kaya I re-recorded another one for those who did not attend yung live recording. Tomorrow, if we start the anatomy, I will make sure na talagang nagre-record, no? I will also check. So again, thank you very much for choosing VetNose or for also trying VetNose. I really hope that you will have a very good uh, review review experience with this review center. And I really pray that you will pass the board exam. God bless and good luck. And I'll see you every day for the next 2 months. Bye-bye.